What's up, guys? In this video we're going to discuss the final specs of the OnePlus Nord CE. It is the newest phone from OnePlus that's going to be released very soon here in 2021. We're currently in June. This is the successor to the OnePlus Nord that was released a few months back, almost pretty much a year. And this is the phone that's only going to be released in the UK and in India. So for everybody else in other countries and here in the US, this phone is not going to make it to us. We're going to get a updated N200. So all these are budget to mid-range devices, but this phone is probably only going to be released in the UK and India, and maybe you'll get it here in the US by a third-party website, or eventually on Amazon or Swappa or some other, or eBay or some third-party website. But anyways, this is my final take on the review of the specs of the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. So basically this phone, spec-wise, quality-wise, altogether, is supposed to be in between the OnePlus Nord and the very popular OnePlus Nord N10 5G. So it's going to be in the middle of those two. It's going to be lower than the Nord and higher than the N10 5G. So price-wise, it's going to sit in the middle too. The Nord was around $500 to $600 when that one was released. So like a mid-range phone, very nice, very popular. The N10 5G was in the $300 unlocked, but it's very nice in price when it was on Metro. You can get it for $50 or free when it was first launched. So this one is going to sit, it's going to sit around $400, I would assume. That's the price that it's going to sit, because it's going to be right in the middle of those two. So that's what I'm going to call for the price. So $400 device we're looking at. All right, so this phone is pretty much going to be more closer to the N10 than the N10 5G. And let's just go run through the specs. Obviously, you got 5G. You got the size is going to be around the same as the Nord, and the Nord is going to be around 6.2 inches tall, around a little bit under 3 inches wide, around 0.3 inches thick. So 7.9 millimeters thick to be exact. For the weight, I would assume it's going to be around the same, maybe a little bit closer to 7 ounces, because the Nord was 6.4 ounces. The build quality did change. It took away the glass back. Now it has a glass front, plastic back, plastic frame. So this is more of a drop in quality for the build, but that's okay. It's going to be a dual SIM variant. You know, that's when these international phones launch. They got that dual SIM capability. I don't see any eSIM in here. It's going to keep the AMOLED display with 90 Hertz refresh rate. Screen size is same thing, 6.4 inches. Full HD display, 1080p display. So the PPI is going to be 409, which is okay. Hasn't really changed. The software is going to launch with Android 11 and Oxygen OS 11. So stock version of Android pretty much, with Oxygen OS on top that has its own gestures and its own features. And this one's probably going to get several updates, unlike the N10 5G, which only gets one update. So look for this phone to have updates in the future. For the processor, it kind of dropped down. It looks like it's getting the Snapdragon 750G processor, but it's dropping down in price, so that makes sense. Which is it's still not gonna be that bad. This phone's still gonna fly. That's a good processor. Now, it looks like it's keeping the same storage as before. There's no micro SD card slot, but it starts off at 64 gigs of internal storage. And you also get 128 gigs of storage option as well. And they start off again the same with 6 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of RAM. Both versions of RAM are pretty much okay for $400. Not a bad deal at all. Camera system did change a little bit. You got a triple shooter instead of a 4 camera setup on the old Nord. It has a 64 megapixel main, 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel depth. So it looks like they removed the macro camera from the regular Nord. It's still shooting video at 4K, very nice. Selfie camera did change as well. It has a single 60 megapixel camera, as opposed to the old Nord that had a dual camera which was very nice. It had a 32, it had an ultra wide, it had an 8 megapixel ultra wide on the old one. Now it just has one regular 16 megapixel wide camera, and also the selfie has downgraded from 4K to 1080p. Well, I guess that's, you know, if you're into selfies and quality and stuff like that, still be good, but it's gonna be a downgrade from the old Nord. And it looks like they're adding the headphone jack, which is nice. The other one didn't have it, so that's good. Bluetooth 5.1 to connect all your wireless devices. It still has NFC, and that's probably mostly for payment services. USB Type-C, standard stuff. And it's keeping the under the display fingerprint reader. So now we're getting into phones that are around $400 with that in-display fingerprint reader. That price is going down. I'm noticing a trend that these mid-range phones, usually $500 is where you can start to expect in-display fingerprint readers when they launch, and they're gradually going down in price. So now you're seeing that flagship mid-range feature in lower end phone prices. So now you're starting off at $400 for an in-display fingerprint reader, which is more contemporary. It's very more new. It's just more, you know, it's a wow factor in my opinion. So that's a good sign. Battery got bumped up a little bit. It went from 4,100 milliamps to now it's 4,500 milliamps, which is okay. I don't think it's gonna be the best in battery life. It'll probably get you all day, barely, but I like to see 5,000 milliamps at the bare minimum in the 5G devices, especially since lower end phones at a lower price point are offering 5,000 and 6,000 milliamp batteries. But that's okay. This phone has, it's okay because it has fast charging at 30 watts. They kept it the same. So that means you could charge it up to 70% in 30 minutes. And that's pretty much 99% of all the specs, everything you need to know about the Nord CE. If you're a person in the UK or in India that's trying to buy this phone, you're gonna be very happy. It dropped down a little bit in a couple of specs here and there, but for the most part, it is a welcome addition at $400. So basically it's a reduced priced Nord from 2020. Here in 2020, you're getting the updated version. So it seems like it's gonna be a very good popular phone. It's a very good alternative to the Nord, for the OnePlus 9 that starts off like at $800. So you can get pretty much most of the specs and quality and, you know, all the good stuff running all your apps and all your daily cell phone, smartphone activities for half the price. Well, in my opinion, that's the trend that most people should be on. These mid-range and lower budget phones are very, very good. No excuse now for these expensive smartphones that are in the $1,000 range. I don't see them competing in value compared to these lower price models. But anyways, I digress. This is a very good pickup for people in the UK and in India. Kind of disappointed because I'm in North America, I'm in the US right now, so I'm probably not going to ever see this even on prepaid, because that N10 5G was a super popular phone, and that one's in prepaid, and that one sells like hotcakes. Very, very awesome phone. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll do more comparison videos on this compared to all the other phones, OnePlus, Motorola, iPhone, Samsung, you know the deal. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.